Welcome back to the episode of my trading vlog, where sometimes I make videos about just whatever I feel like, and generally it's in the morning, so I've got a little bit of sleepy face, but we're gonna get going here. What I want to talk about today is Bitcoin. We've had a significant move here, and it looks like some of this analysis I did from before is looking really nice at this point. And so I want to go through it, and we'll talk about what's going on. And once again, as usual, I see corrections that need to be made on my charting, which is annoying because I've put all this work into it just to find that, yes, I have mislabeled my Elliott wave degrees once again. If that's gibberish to you, that is normal. What I'm thinking is that I have the minute degree here labeled in white as minute wave 1 and 2, beginning our reversal here that led to this explosive push up to $34,000. We've had wave 3, which I think might actually be back here, what I'm calling wave 1 at the minuet level. And this actually, we're just going to pull away all of these minuet levels, and we're going to get going on a new count and talk about what that means for the future. Really, these minuet counts, they shouldn't be taking up way more time than the minute counts, right? It just doesn't make sense. It's not proportional. And so first thing I want to talk about here on this new count is this wave 3. This big push higher is confirmed wave 3. It's not wave C anymore. That means that we're probably starting a new mode of wave on a higher degree, and that degree above minute is minor, and we're going to call it minor A because we still don't know if it's minor 1 yet. So maybe we actually go ahead and just minor that. Label that wave A or 1. Now we're looking for a complete 5-wave count if we're going to be counting a motive count, which has 5 waves at this degree, at the minute degree. And so we're going to go through here. We're going to start labeling wave 4. We're going to duplicate this mark, and we're going to go up here, and we're going to call this the top of wave 5. And actually what that does is that moves this, that's in the wrong spot. This goes here. There's 5 waves in a motive wave. Motive waves are A, C, or 1, 3, and 5. So remember, each motive wave has 5 waves. Corrective waves have 3 waves. Motive waves are 1, 3, 5, A and C. Corrective waves are 2, 4, and B. The principle to grasp there is that there are more trends in a complete motive trend because a motive trend makes progress. So the sum of all the moves in a motive trend have to be greater than the moves of the corrective trends. And that's why you have 3 waves that are motive in a complete motive wave count and only 2 that are corrective, because you have to have more motive counts than corrective counts. Something else to remember is that you are going to also have price fluctuation, and so in order to establish that, you need at least 5 waves so that you can get both fluctuation and progress at the same time and at varying degrees. And that's the thing, is mathematically it makes sense that 5 is the most efficient way to achieve that. I go through all this on some of my other videos on my channel. I don't want to make this too long. So here we go. We're just going to keep going. We've had a big push up for wave A, and this motive trend through here, this looks kind of interesting. You're going to notice that I have a couple of uptrends shown here, and they've both acted as support. What I want to do at this time is just kind of like take these off and clear the chart up a little bit. I don't need to have everything on here all the time. I think what we were looking at through here is some sort of triangle. And it was probably a reverse triangle. And the thing about reverse triangles is that they're super hard to predict because they're backwards. And so you'll get like the overthrow or the underthrow that's typical at the end of a triangle, at the beginning of the triangle, which is also very annoying. But here we go. We have waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're following all the rules, which are that wave 4 doesn't move into the range of wave 1, and that's to establish progress in the motive wave. Also, wave 3 is not shorter than any of the other 2 motive waves. If it's shorter than wave 1, then wave 5 has to be even smaller, and that's what gives us triangles. At any rate, here we go. So we've completed minor wave A or 1, and we've had our first counter trend through here. And you can see that this actually looks like a falling wedge, right? And it's hard to say if that's true or not. I would want to call this a leading diagonal triangle, but it doesn't quite have the right alternation between 5 waves and 3 waves, as say a motive and a corrective trend alternation between opposing trend line touches. And so much better characterized as just some sort of triangle, just a corrective triangle in a constricting price range. Not a big deal. We had, look at this, again, that little underthrow where price breaks the pattern, and then guess what? Just reverses and goes the other way. That's very common at the end of triangles. And of course, here in the reverse triangle, it happens at the beginning, which is why these are so hard to follow. If you're having a hard time following a traditional channel or motive wave count, consider that you may be moving through some sort of diagonal. And when you're moving through a diagonal, you're always going to get these wild price moves. And here it happened in the beginning. Now, we've since come out of this corrective triangle and had this big sideways grind. And I remember distinctly in the past having said we need to break above this prior high at 30,600 and maybe even 31,700. And we've definitely done that now. And so we can start to look at this sideways grind as corrective, right? Which would be at the minor degree, either wave B or wave 2. Now here's the thing. Wave 2 rarely forms a triangle, okay? And just remember that, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chart this corrective pattern, and you know what it comes out to look like? It comes out to look like a triangle. So given that wave 2 rarely forms a triangle, but wave B commonly does, we actually are probably thinking that this is probs wave A. Probs A or 1 maybe. It's probably not wave 1, it's probably wave A. Because we have a triangle that follows this motive count, and that makes us think, hey, corrective horizontal triangle. We've since broken out of there and are pushing higher. Now, we need to find 5 trend line touches here through the triangle, right? We almost do. We have A, B, C, D, and E is actually up here. We might better chart this like this, where we've actually had a little bit of price extreme through here. And that price extreme set a bearish continuation level at 25,000. Which of course was never dropped below. We had a bullish divergence here, pretty strong indicator that we're going to have a corrective bounce. And actually, this one proved to serve as a full reversal, as price has now soared beyond the height of this triangle, and we're starting a new push higher. And so what I'm going to do is take my motive trend from back here, I'm going to duplicate it and pull it back over here. We have now had probably motive wave 1 of the next wave, which is probably, guess what? It's probably wave C. So probs C or 3, maybe, and maybe 3, because probably actually C. Just the probability here is higher that it's wave C. Okay, now what does this mean? How can we use a price target here? How can we formulate what a future move may or may not do? Well, I'm going to take my Fibonacci extension tool. I'm going to come to the top of this motive wave back here, motive wave A, not the top of the triangle, right? Let me zoom in and I'll show you what I mean. It's tempting to just go to the highest high over here, right? And you can do that. That's fine. But I think what you really want to do is find the top of the motive trend, which is probably back here somewhere. It could even be here, but we're just going to take this high, and then we're going to take it down to the lowest low of that corrective pattern. And this will give us an extension at 40,500. You can easily see how price is heading that way rather quickly. The RSI, the Relative Strength Index, is extremely overbought, and you can expect that to stay up there if we're going to move up to 40,500. When we get, and the RSI falls back to about 70, I'll be watching for resistance here and a bounce. And what that's going to be is, if the averages are staying above 70, that's some serious bullish momentum we're witnessing. It looks like we've had some good volume spikes. I have this yellow line that runs through these bars, and this is the 30-period average. You can see that starting to tilt up. Implied volatility is setting a new high that we haven't seen since, guess what, the top of the last motive trend. This probably means that we're actually seeing motive flip to bullish, and we'll be expecting more upside later. Of course, the MACD here is swooping very positive, and we could expect to see a big move in the MACD like back here, since we're going to see a wave degree, a move at a higher wave degree. So Bitcoin to me looks like it's really starting to push up higher, and we could easily get to 40,500 in short order. There's going to be a level of support and resistance at these prior peaks. I'm just going to go ahead and label those. If we get below here, this doesn't necessarily mean it's bearish reversal. but it does mean that we are going to be in a sideways grind. At this point, if this is wave 1, we could experience what's called, I like to call, wave 2 terror. And wave 2, the only rule for wave 2 is that it can't pass below the beginning of wave 1, which is at 25,115. So yes, Bitcoin could drop all the way down to 25,000 before ripping to 40,500. That's just what fits within the wild swings that Bitcoin makes. It makes sense, and that could really happen. I wouldn't expect that. I'd more expect some sort of alternating pattern through here, through this motive wave. It looks like back here, wave 2 was pretty flat. This motive wave was a reverse triangle. It'd be nice to see something like just a clean channel form. Maybe we could even speculate a little bit about what that channel may look like. This is probably wave 1 through here. I would maybe, if I were just to guess, if I had to guess, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to be moving through this range for a while, and then to push up and break that channel on its way up and out to form wave 3, right? So this is the expectation. This is what I believe is the likely forecast. It's not what may happen, but it is what the Elliott wave count suggests is possible, is that we get something like this. 1, 2, 3. And 2 could fall as low as 25,000. So we're going to leave the bearish continuation at 25,000. That hasn't changed. Bullish continuation, we're going to move this up to the peak here of this new channel I've drawn. And you may be asking, why did I draw that channel there? And the answer is, I'm guessing that's the top, right? The RSI reaching that high at 83, that's pretty solid, pretty high. I'm thinking we're going to go through correction now. If I really wanted to, I could use like an Andrews pitchfork and try to speculate what that might look like. I'm not really good with the Andrews pitchfork tool, obviously, as I use it backwards, but there you go. So Bitcoin caught my eye. I just wanted to put these thoughts down. This is what I'm kind of looking at. Big motive trend up for A, triangle for B, and now it looks like we're starting wave C, which could be very strong. And if we look at this will be great. People are going to love this. If we get an extension of that Fibonacci ratio, let's see here. How do you do this? Is it edit properties? Yeah, and that's 1.618. If we go up, whoa, we're looking at 50,000. All right, and you can see that there's some significant levels through here where Bitcoin found resistance. It's like if you were to take these big price swings and just like draw like where they spin around, like it's right around there, right? So yeah. Honestly, it looks like Bitcoin's coming back up. It really does. And it's in a big 3-wave corrective push. And so I would be a little wary, because that suggests that we aren't quite heading for a motive push higher, which means that we'll be perhaps not passing all-time highs. Not yet. If we get here and break through it, that's different. But we can't speculate that far out. That's way too far in the future. Right now, the best of my understanding, it looks like we're forming a classic ABC correction to the upside. And that's going to be nice. Let's go look at some other stuff really quick. Let's take a peek at SPY. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Waiting for trade data. Okay, whatever. There it is. Here we go. Wow, big downward breakout through here. We definitely didn't get a triangle at all, did we? Instead, we just continued to plummet, which is pretty curious. Is there any wave overlap here? There may be. SPY does a lot of weird things, but again, it looks like we could be doing one of these things. A, B, C. This could be not quite D. Ooh, this looks more like a clean motive wave count, doesn't it? Where this dip off of 457 down to 435 would serve as our first wave. And then our Fibonacci tool retracement here, 100% puts us at 429. We're going to edit this and put an extension down on it, and supposedly the 161.8% target is 415, where you can see price has fallen through today. We're looking at what appears to be some developing bullish divergence here in the RSI, where we have a higher low in the RSI and a lower low in the price. So those peaks are diverging. Probably going to head for correction soon. Doesn't mean we won't head lower. Remember, in a strong motive trend, you're going to see those sorts of divergences appear and then break. And what you're seeing is a smaller wave degree complete, followed by its smaller corrective trend, and then the larger the wave degree is completing as the RSI moves into overbought or oversold and stays there for a while. The biggest moves actually happen in the deeply overbought, or not deeply overbought, but deeply oversold, and overbought levels on the RSI. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Okay, so that's what I have for today. Just looking at this stuff, just musing about it, and really just Bitcoin caught my eye, so thought I'd make a video. Happy trading.